Now we will hear from Uros Krcadinac, an assistant professor of digital art and computing at the Faculty of Media and Communications at Singidunum University in Belgrade. Uros is also a digital artist, and today he will talk about his last exhibition where he and AI algorithm created art together. So Uros, the stage is yours.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm really happy to be here. I'm happy to be invited to speak at the conference. My name is Uros Krcadinac. I'm a digital artist, a writer and educator, working at several schools and trying to integrate software engineering. By my first education, have a PhD in software engineering, but I also work in digital art and writing. And currently, I work as an associate professor of digital art and computing at the Faculty of Media and Communications. Also, I teach at the Academy of Art, Novi Sad. So today, I'm going to tell you about an exhibition we organized 2 months ago at the Gallery of Science and Technology of the Serbian Academy of Sciences and Arts in Belgrade. And the title of the exhibition was Centaur Drawings, which is also the title of this talk. So the exhibition was about trying to reimagine what does it mean to create meaning and to create anything in the age of AI, and how we as humans are about to pose these questions, like aesthetic questions, but also philosophical questions and political questions about the creation of meaning and about the creation of anything together with algorithms. So it was an exhibition about algorithmic co-creation, which featured the human-robot collaborative drawings together with a pen plotter, a drawing robot, with which visitors of the exhibition were drawing together, and also I was drawing together with the robot. And this is how it looked like at the exhibition. And it consisted out of 4 parts. The exhibition consisted out of 4 parts. The first part were automated chess maps, then neural network visualizations, flow field drawings, and interactive drawings. One part of the exhibition was artistic, the other part was educational. So the idea was also to present an exhibition that could demystify AI technologies, that could dissolve some of the fear people feel about the AI technologies, but also to somehow draw attention to other parts of the whole AI, let's say, hype that could potentially be dangerous in some other respects. It also to foster the idea of collaboration and the idea of creating something together among humans with or without technologies. This is one part of these joint drawing efforts between the robot, between the pen plotter, and people who visited the exhibition. Okay, so the first part of the exhibition was actually inspired by something happened a quarter of a century ago, when there was this famous chess match between Garry Kasparov and Deep Blue, IBM's chess AI. And it was the first time in history that we witnessed a human to be beaten in chess by an AI algorithm. In other words, Garry Kasparov became the first human to lose his job because of AI. And what was interesting to me is that after the match, Kasparov invented something called advanced chess, or cyborg chess, or Centaur chess, and thus the name of the exhibition, Centaur Drawings. And the Centaur chess was a chess where one human uses a computer to play against another human who also uses a computer. So the computer stands not as an autonomous entity, but it stands as a tool that we humans can use to search the possible space of all possible variations, of all possible possibilities. But in the end, we are making the final decision, what kind of move do we want to make. And it turns out that these games, these Centaur games, are really weird, really strange games, in some way like Dadaist games. Games that may seem like anti-rational, because I have an access to all possible moves, by Stockfish or by some other, chess engine, but I will not do the optimal move. I will play not the optimal move, but the move that might confuse my opponent, and then the opponent, together with his computer, might decide to do something that's also not optimal, and through this kind of interaction, you get a new kind of creativity, something that combines, you know, the whole Dada legacy of art and the avant-garde legacy of art together with the you know, superpower of these algorithms in terms of optimizing the process. And this is something that me as an artist felt really exciting, like in terms of how to really be creative. It's not about, you know, creating beautiful images or be creative in terms of, you know, drawing beautiful landscapes. Being creative is about, you know, reimagining what does it mean to be human, what is death, what is truth, what is beauty, what does it mean to be alive, why are we doing the things that we are doing. Also, it's a political question, how to fight these deeply rooted hierarchical structures of power. You know, art in the 20th century always had a lot to do with tactics, a lot to do with fighting against oppression, a lot to do with trying to imagine new kinds of strategies of life, new kinds of tactics of life. And this is why, you know, a really strong stream within the art of 20th century was this kind of tactical art, an art of mapping interactions, mapping power structures, mapping the ways we interact with each other. So the first part of exhibition was the idea how to map these automatic chess games. And these are the chess maps that we created and that were drawn by the drawing robot. So the drawing robot is actually drawing chess games, endless chess games, infinite chess games, playing with each other and creating this new kind of language, a new kind of petroglyphs, a new kind of, you know, pictographic languages for trying to somehow both aesthetically and emotionally deepen the understanding of systemic interactions between humans. And I'm going to go back a little bit, just to show you some of these designs and some of these drawings, and also to say that this is an homage to our conceptual artist Era Milivojevic, who was in 1999 during the bombing of Belgrade creating these chess maps. He actually mapped these six, I think, there were these 6 chess games that were played between Kasparov and Deep Blue. And he mapped them on the windows of the Faculty of Philosophy and created this piece that right now stands at the walls of the Zvezdara Culture Center, really near the Vukov spomenik. They stand on the walls. So it's not just, you know, modernist design. These are actually, you know, tactical symbols, you know, these maps of chess games. And I wanted to create an homage to Era Milivojevic by doing it automatically, by AI, and by somehow transferring to paper. So also one part of the exhibition were these interactive drawings in real time, where you could actually see a chess game being played and then these maps being drawn. First being drawn in some kind of a vector format and then transferred to these kind of designs. Also, we can play with certain chess figures having different colors, so we get different kind of art feels. And then with using the pen plotter, with using the drawing robot, we'd get them on the paper with all the imperfections and all the little glitches that can be created only when you're using analog technology. So this is another motivation for me for the exhibition, to try to, you know, both use the AI, but in conjunction with these analog technologies and papers and pens and something that is tangible, something that has a certain kind of, you know, emotional feel. Also, this is an example of a semic writing, which is a whole tradition in visual art to create art by drawing something that's anti-semantic, something that doesn't have meaning or has a hidden meaning, something that looks like a writing system, but it's not actually a real writing system, and it goes all the way to cave paintings. And in many ways, at least it seems to me, that with these technologies we live something in something that's like the digital Paleolithic times. We've just started with these technologies, and it's up to us to imagine how to actually employ these technologies in our life. So these are just some of the examples, like charting knights and pawns, and creating, you know, these different kind of codexes and new languages for the developing sensibility towards structural forces at play. or the asemic writing for the age of algorithmic co-creation. This was the first part of the exhibition. The second part of the exhibition was devoted to neural networks, in particular recurrent neural networks, long short-term memory type, built with Python. So we built our own little, really small AIs like pet models that were supposed to generate new asemic drawings from these kind of drawings that I was drawing through all my life. These are some drawings I drew when I was a child. And basically they represent this menagerie of little mannequin man, little stick figures, and each of these little stick figures is different and has a kind of its own or her own identity. So I've created this really, really large database of these little human-like characters as a form of asemic writing, but also as a training set. So you can see, you can look at this small part of this data set as a training set for the recurrent neural network in order for a recurrent neural network to learn how to invent new types of these little human-like figures. And the idea was to visualize human labor, to visualize how much time do we actually employ in creating training sets. And for me, it was also an experiment to see that I, as an artist, by drawing these little symbols by hand, how much time do I need to actually create a training set used by AI. So it's a visualization of human labor, it's a visualization of human sweat and the emotion that we employ so we could get all of these AI algorithms. And in many cases, what we see as labor in building AI, we acknowledge the labor of engineers, we acknowledge the labor of mathematicians, of scientists, but more often than not, we don't acknowledge the labor of writers, of artists, of musicians, of people who are actually creating the content that's going to become part of the training set. When we see ChatGPT writing, it's actually the entire humanity writing together, synthesized by these statistical algorithms. You know, together, Shakespeare and Chekhov and Danilo Kish and Njegoš and you and me and all of us together and random people from the internet together writing something. And this idea about AI technologies being something inherently collective and not seeing AI as some kind of autonomous, you know, spirit in the machine creating something in of itself and out of itself, but as something that synthesizes the collective power of creativity, something that we all jointly create, is something that was really, really exciting. And in terms of artistic intentions, something that I believe, you know, digital art should speak about. And if we speak about the technical aspect of this, each of these little pictograms, if we represent it in SVG format, basically represents an array of arrays of these, you know, coordinates, because I've created a program where I can draw by hand. I draw by vacuum tablet. The vacuum tablet takes my drawings, transfers it to mathematical coordinates. You get this long array of coordinates. So what you really give to the recurrent neural network, you give these long arrays of numbers. And by trying to find statistically significant relationships between these numbers, is how the network gets trained. As I said, it was a recurrent neural network, LSTM type, and you can find it online. You can find it as an open source software on my website, Krcadinac.com, also on my GitHub, and you are welcome to play with it. As I said, it's a very simple model, something that together with two of my assistants, I was able to build for the exhibition. It's not something like groundbreaking, but it's something that, you know, can show that we as, let's say, small creators, authors, are able to employ in terms of technology and really, you know, delve deeper in how it works, to be able to understand some aspects of the functioning of the large language models, and to be able not to be completely overrun by these gigantic corporations and this gigantic global capital that, you know, takes away all the creative forces from, you know, billions of people today. So in the end, there were 4,100 original hand drawings. Together with organic Perlin variations, we have more than 30,000 of these drawings. And then we, you know, played with the RNN model in order to get new designs of these. And we also, in the end, in the exhibition, exhibited the entire database. We got this big, large codex of, these asemic petroglyphs, like on a cave wall. But also you can view this, as I said, as the visualization of human labor. And on the other wall, we visualized what were the results and what were the best results. So the white wall on the left is part of this large training set or asemic codex of these little symbols. And on the right, what you can see are the final, results, is the final language outputted by the recurrent neural network. And let me go back a little bit. We also did it in an educational way to show what kind of drawings you would get if the training set is 1,000 drawings big. You would get something that's not really, a form that's in any way recognizable, but with 5,000, you get some elements of a head, of a hand, of an anatomy of humans. With 10,000, the results are a little bit better, and we ended up with 31,300 drawings that we had in the end, which also was not perfect, but was starting to get interesting. And this space between something that's meaningless and really meaningful, and this game of trying to find the meaning of these symbols was really exciting to me. And one part of the exhibition was actually calling visitors of the exhibition to give meaning to these symbols. Like, what do they mean to you? What is this little stick figure? And these 12 ones were maybe the most exciting designs that we got. Like a little dragon, or a ballerina, or skaters on the ice, or some people, fighting other people, something that looks like a phoenix, and so on and so on. If we talk about them being created by the algorithm in terms of authorship, then we would need to say that Marcel Duchamp's fountain was not created by Duchamp, but by the factory that creates urinals. So this idea that we assign agency to these kind of statistical machines then means that we would need to go much further in assessing what does it mean to create things. So yes, what's really important for me at least, and what the exhibition was trying to draw attention to, is that it's impossible to have the human outside of the loop, because the meaning of art always exists within some psychological context, within some social context. Without this context, it doesn't exist. So it is us who provide databases for training algorithms. It is us who provide labor for creating these training sets, and in the end it is us who choose and exchange these drawings and texts as their editors and curators. And in many ways today with these AI algorithms, all of us together are, both the creators of these training sets, but also we are the editors and we are the curators, and the AI art that's being generated, it's something out of which we are the curators and we are the editors. So the new artists of the AI age are us as curators and editors. And together with workshops that we had, together with the exhibition at the Serbian Academy of Sciences and Arts, and together with public talks and with lectures, we tried, to open all of these philosophical questions, also artistic, aesthetical questions, econo-political questions, and all the other things that are actually, in my opinion, meaningful when we talk about algorithmic art. So the third part of the exhibition were devoted to something that I would call the aesthetics of systems theory. One of the subjects I had during my engineering studies were the systems theory and how we can use different differential equations to model different natural and different social systems. in particular, these are the flow fields. You can use these kind of equations for flow fields to model, liquids and to model gases, but you can also model the inflation. You can also model labor and capital flows. You can also model, different economic aspects of a society, different ecological parts of society. So this part of the exhibition was with playing with this idea of interconnectedness in a society with or without technology. And as my friend Danica Tucakov, who is an art historian, said, there were not really a time when we were not cyborgs. So even in these cave paintings that I like to reference, we had some kind of technology with painting with caves. And then we had, colors for Byzantine paintings, and then we had cameras, and we're always dealing with some kind of technology when we're dealing with art. And in this regard, having AI is nothing new. What is new is the complexity of these systems that we live within, and how hard it is to perceive this systemic interconnectedness today. And these were some of the pieces I've created together with the robot. The robot is drawing little arrows, little systemic forces and structural forces, natural, social forces, and I'm drawing these little asemic writing symbols, these little stick figures, and creating this kind of new asemic language. And these are just some of the examples of the pieces that were exhibited at the exhibition. And this is just a short GIF created out of a long video art piece that was more than 1 hour long, in which together the pen plotter, the drawing robot, and I create this kind of drawing. And it was also open to the public. And then we opened also the whole process to the public, so people who visited the exhibition were also could also play with the robot and draw together with the robot, but not only draw together with the robot, also open the code, see how the code looks like, see how the training process looks like. We tried to make it open, to make it social, to make it collective, and to make it democratic. And this is how the exhibition looked like. This is the fourth part, when people actually approached the robot and started playing with it and, opening the hood and seeing what's under the hood and seeing the code and trying to, in this kind of interaction, have this game of reimagining what does it mean to create things in the age of AI. What is the thing that we are supposed to be afraid of? What is the thing that is an opportunity to at the same time be able to envision what are the potential dangers of this kind of technologies, but at the same time embrace all the possibilities that these technologies necessarily, give us. And there is a lot we can do with these technologies, but at the same time, we should be aware of the dangers. So this is how this process looked like. And in the end, I just want to say that when we talk about AI technologies, something that I already said, we tend to somehow overlook the inherent collectivity of these technologies and to somehow overlook how much labor, creative labor, was needed for these technologies to be built in terms of building these data sets. Like we are talking about billions of texts, we are talking about billions of images, both historical and contemporary. We are talking about, billions of humans who were somehow part of this loop. And this all calls us to be creative, not only in terms of creating beautiful images, beautiful texts, beautiful poems, beautiful music, but also beautiful organizational systems, beautiful new economic systems, new ways we can collaborate, new ways we can envision being in the world in the 21st century. Instead of talking about artificial mind or artificial consciousness, I believe that we should talk about automated collective statistics created by all of humanity through its collective efforts. So when, for example, these large language models write, or these large image models write, it's essentially all of us writing and drawing collectively. And this is something that's usually not being acknowledged enough. And the algorithmic art can give us a lens through which we can see all this clearly, can open new possibilities, can open new ways of decolonizing the imagination. And this idea of decolonizing the imagination is something that inspires me to do these sort of things in creating these new forms of visual poetry, these new forms of opening questions for the 21st century. Thank you very much. Can give you this.
Thank you for the presentation and for the explanations surrounding it. It was really nice to hear and totally different perspective, at least for me, to think about all the AI progress and everything through the lens of mutual human creativity and the process of summing, I guess, all the human work both now and in the history. But you mentioned that, okay, that is one point of view. Do you think that at this point, or maybe in the future, computers could indeed have sort of mind or creativity or cognition or whatever you call it of their own, so without human agents, just on their own? Do they have it now, or could they have it, in your opinion, sometimes in the future?
I mean, nobody really knows.
Yeah.
So it's a really complex, maybe one of the hardest philosophical questions, and it's really hard for me to say whether would it be possible in the future. What we have right now is definitely not that. Maybe it's on the way, maybe it's not. But I mean, there are just many, many layers to this. On one hand, we have this idea that everything that we create are so deeply authentic. So when I write a poem, it comes from my transcendent soul, which is also some kind of a delusion. Because I learned the language, I acquired the language from society in which I was born, from the global society with which I take part of. I get all the memes. I haven't invented the words that I'm using right now. All the words that I'm using right now is the capital of society, is something that comes from society, and I'm just, recombining these words to create something. So on the one hand,
you put the creativity in that. Do you think computers could do that as well or not?
But on the other hand, you have, in order to, I mean, what does it mean? If we reduce the creativity to behaviorist paradigm, we only think about creativity as the creative behavior. So if intelligence is only the intelligent behavior, I might say that we already have intelligent computer programs. But if we talk about, experience, if we talk about consciousness, if we talk about, what it feels like to be me, or what it feels like to be you, or what it feels like to be turtle, or what it feels like to be self-replicating protein chains, what does it mean to be an autopoietic system in terms of Niklas Luhmann, we still don't know what these things are. So on a deep level, we don't know what does it mean to feel like something. We don't know what does a bat feel like. So on this level, I cannot say whether will it happen or will it not, but we need to, open all of these questions again, because this is, such a huge moment in history, not because only of AI, but because of many things that are being piling up in our history. And it's not only me saying like it's not going to happen or it's going to happen. It's more like whether are we going to be creative enough to reimagine what does it mean to create things together with these kind of machines. I mean, we can call them creative or we can call them intelligent, but it's just a matter of convention in the end. Before I learn any language, before I learn any math, before I learn any set of symbols, I have this, I am an experiential being. I feel pain, I feel thirst, I am hungry, I'm a baby, living in this state of somehow feeling something. So we can talk about robots behaving in an intelligent way, but what does it mean to feel pain? This is the question. And in the art, when we talk about art, it's always, you cannot escape the question of pain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uros. That was a nice talk. And that will be that.